Welcome to Love and Other Investments, where we talk about finances, but more importantly, how finances impact relationships. My name is John, and I'm a financial planner.
And my name is Jeff, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Today we're going to talk about what envy is. We're going to talk about how it kind of takes a space in our planning and can be disruptive. But we're also going to get in a little bit of the darker side of envy, I think, and kind of talk about what kind of destruction it can wreck
Let's jump
a relationship. So obviously the first stuff I want to talk about is envy is kind of the shiny lizard brain stuff.
Yeah, well, what do you mean by the lizard brain? I think I know exactly what you mean, but for our listeners.
Yeah, I mean, you just literally see somebody drive by in a great car, or somebody walk by in a great new outfit, or you see some shoes that you've just got to have.
Yeah.
And it distracts you from what you were getting ready to do, right?
There's some part of you that feels immediately and sort of powerfully drawn to the thing. You're talking about the shoes, the cars.
The vacation.
Yeah. The houses.
Right.
You're drawn to it, and it's compelling.
And I want to point out that it's not just the thing. If you think about all the influencers, the reason they're influencers is because we have a person with a face doing the thing, wearing the thing, driving the thing.
That we want.
Drinking the thing. So
Yeah.
we have an example
Right.
of how happy you would be with the thing.
They're literally telling us how happy they are with
Absolutely.
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of the lizard brain part, is I saw somebody happy and they had a thing. I don't have that thing. I'm betting I would be happy with that.
This
thing.
is I don't want to get too far afield here, but this is the basis for capitalism, right? Like, I want that thing.
We normally think of greed as being kind of a primary motivator in capitalism.
Uh-huh.
Greed is I want more.
Yes.
But envy is a twist on greed, because envy says, I didn't even know I wanted that until I saw you have it.
Uh-huh.
And it gets to this idea that if somebody has it, then I should have it.
I deserve that.
I deserve that. Absolutely. Yeah. And, if you just saw a big countertop full of stuff all jumbled together, you probably wouldn't go, I want that stuff.
That's really interesting that you say that, because I saw a reel of a woman on social media who buys those giant containers of leftovers from, online shoppers. They
Okay.
never got delivered.
Right.
And it comes in a giant cardboard box. And she rips open the box and she sorts through everything sort of. And I think, I don't want that. I don't want a box full of junk.
No, because it's not curated for you.
No.
No, I want the thing where the person's walking across the street and looks perfect.
Yes. Yes.
So, lizard brain.
Lizard brain. Okay.
Saw it, they were happy, I want
Okay.
it. Not greed, envy.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So, Jeff, from your end of the world, when do you see envy? What do you see envy as?
I mean, I think of envy as a multi-stage pathway. Let me unpack that.
Okay.
So first, I think of envy as the thing you're describing, the noticing that someone has a shiny object and the immediate visceral reaction of, I deserve that, or I want that. I would expand it, though. So it's not just objects or things, but also relational components or other more abstract things that people might want. For instance, power. They may see the CEO of their company and say, I want that power.
I want people to open the door for me.
Yes. Or they may see a friend's partner and say, I want that partner. Coveting the spouse.
It just got dark.
Yeah, it just got dark, right? Or they might say, I want that relationship. Maybe they're trying to steal spouse, maybe they're saying they have a good relationship. Well, objectively, whether they do or not,
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
Right.
The sense of envy is like seeing that someone else has something better than what I have, or something I long for or wish for, and feeling as if I should have that. Why shouldn't I have that? So that's the first part. So for me, it's not just about an object per se. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And then the second part is adding anger. So imagine that envy includes a little bit of anger in it, or sometimes a lot. Not only is it that I want that thing, but I'm mad that the CEO is the CEO and not me. I should be the CEO. That person doesn't deserve it. I do. Or that person doesn't deserve their partner, but I deserve a good partner. Or whatever the thing is, you know.
And I can see it in a relationship that I should have the right to use our money the way I see fit. I earn half of it or most of it.
Yeah, or all of it or whatever.
I do all the work around here. Or
Yes.
I never get this, or I never.
You hear the outrage and the entitlement, right, that's embedded in it. And so I think one of the things that happens, the next step down this path, is what am I going to do with my envy that has anger in it? How am I going to either prevent someone else from getting what I want? Because nobody should have it if I don't have it.
Right.
Or how am I going to take what is mine and shouldn't be theirs? So in its most intense form, you can see how really quite ugly envy can get. Like people can really act out their envious fantasies in ways that are relationally and sometimes legally destructive.
I feel like at some degree I want to go back to being 5 years old, and Billy has an ice cream cone and I want it. And if I can't have it, then I'm knocking it out of his hand.
Yeah, that's it.
And I feel better about us having this discussion about 5-year-olds than I do about 25-year-olds.
I saw a
35-year-olds.
great video just to this point where there was a dog and there was a puppy that was laying on the couch with its owner, and the adult dog pulled the puppy's T-shirt, pulled the puppy off the couch onto the floor and got up with the owner and snuggled up right there. Like, what a perfect example. Like, you are not getting what I want.
So this is tough because what we're saying is somewhere inside of all of us is the potential of being a stupid 5-year-old.
Having the green monster of envy, right?
Yeah. And so I think, first of all, we've got to recognize that we all do have a part of our brain that is a little bit lizard-like, and that we see things all the time that we think, oh, that would be fun. I wish we could do more of this, or I wish, right?
Yeah.
I want. But I think even more importantly is to recognize that all of us, if we don't know what it is that we want to do, if we don't know what we're trying to do as a couple, as a family, if we don't have a plan, if we aren't trying to build something that we've decided that we really value together, that we are really at risk of being looking at the other things that maybe somebody else has built, whether it's true or false, and saying we really want something that we don't have.
Yeah.
So what would you think would be some really core steps for a couple to be thinking about in order to maybe proactively prevent some of these things from showing up?
I mean, with respect to envy, I think the first thing that needs to happen is to acknowledge that it exists. To the extent that it is hidden from your own view. Your own envy is hidden from your own view. You don't acknowledge its existence in your life. It is controlling you. It's starting to determine your behavior. And that's the point you were making earlier. Like, if you're being honest about your expenditures, when you go and look at what you've spent in a month or whatever, there's some things on there that occurred because you had a moment of seeing the shiny thing and thinking, I want that right now.
Right.
I deserve that right now.
I think we could all probably go and look at whether, if we spend any time on YouTube or social media, we could go look at what our social media feed has figured out about us. Because
Yes.
they're running artificial intelligence on us all the time.
Yes.
If you want to know what you're apt to be a little envious about, check your social media feed. It will tell you.
It will tell you. Yes. So step one, I think, is start to be aware, just like you're saying, go analyze your own social media feed to figure it out, right? Or ask your partner or friends or whatever. Everyone, people know. Like, people will be honest, right? Like, and just begin to say, oh, I see that here is a spot where I'm having that envy.
You know, one of the questions that I try to ask in the first meeting with everybody I meet with is, I will say, hey, one of the things that I want to know is, as a family, what's more important to you than money? And really what I'm getting at is, what is it that you guys have gone all in on and decided that this is what you want to build over time?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean something that you can accomplish in 3 or 4 months. I mean something that you're thinking, you know what, over the next 30, 40, 50 years, this is where we want to move the ball. This is what we're going to pour resources and time and energy into.
Yeah.
And I think of how important that is to have a real strong sense as a couple about what it is that you want to build, that you're not going to get distracted from.
Yes.
So, sure, I would like a shiny new car, but I'm kind of busy right now, and I've decided that there's something more important than that.
Yes. You're describing the way you might consciously counteract the envy that arrives by A, I think, acknowledging that it's there, and then B, saying, but I'm doing something bigger or more important than that.
Yeah, we are doing something bigger. I don't want to correct
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
but it's so easy to not do it together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's massively important in a family to have a sense of what it is that you really want to accomplish.
Yeah, I agree.
That doesn't mean that there's no spontaneity. That doesn't mean that there's not an occasional splurge. But all of those spontaneous splurges still have to be in alignment with you making progress on the main things.
Yeah, I think you said something earlier before we started recording that was really important, which is that perhaps having a plan and making progress on that plan can create the kind of antidote to envy that would look like being proud of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I a lot of times will see somebody who has moved on further in life than I have, who's accomplished more than I have, who's been more successful than I have in some arena. And I go, man, I want that. But the reality was, apparently, I wasn't willing to put in the work to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I want the outcome. I want the reward. I want the benefit, but I haven't put in the work.
Yeah.
And those are things that you often find later in life. You know what? I wish I would have started this earlier. I wish we would have had a plan, because over the last 10 years, we've just been paying the bills.
Right.
We've just been getting by.
Right.
And we feel deprived because we haven't really bought into accomplishing anything.
Yeah, I like it.
So, you know, for me, the big thing is that I think couples need to come together. They need to spend some significant time trying to decide, what do you want to build? What does success look like for you? And I think maybe in part of this discussion that we've unlocked today is what are some of the things that distract you?
Yeah.
What are maybe some of the things that I have been envious of?
Yeah.
And can I put those things on the table and maybe let go of them?
Sure. And for those people, you know, sooner or later, all of us have some intensity with our envy.
Mm-hmm.
For those people who are experiencing a high level of intensity of envy, I would also add, in addition to what you're saying, it's important that they be curious about why that's happening. Because awareness is a first step, but knowing where that's coming from why it's coming from that location in our history or in our relationship, can help us to reduce the level of intensity of that envy. Now, this isn't for everyone. Not everyone has a ton of intensity in their envy. But there's some people who have really intense envy, and if they don't acknowledge that it's there, and they're not curious about why it's there, they just act it out in their life. And that's horribly destructive. So if you notice it and you can acknowledge it, figure out where it's coming from. Let your partner help you. Because if, like to your point, if you're building something together, if you have a plan that you're working on for a bigger thing, a meaningful thing over the course of your life that you're doing together, then your partner is someone who's going to help you with intense feelings
Right.
that are maybe going awry or getting in the way of your plan. That's your teammate, right? Count on them to help you with it.
Awesome. So think about what it is that you really want. Make space for the occasional distraction, and be aware, especially I think what you're saying is be aware if envy starts to make you grumpy.
Or green.
Or green.
Hey, thanks for listening. Please leave us a review and follow us so you don't miss an episode. If you'd like to learn more about us, please visit relational-media.com.